that leads me on to the packaging. We wanted our packaging to be eye-catching, and we've tried to go for a kind of a sleek, contemporary feel to the package to entice people to buy this product. So it's the Alco measure, whatever your drink, know your unit.
The first thing I will say that the name, it's unfortunate, but Alco, short for alcohol, is really short for somebody else who has an alcoholic problem. So I would call it beverage measure or something to take away from that. There's a few things wrong with this box. I don't think it's that attractive if it's sitting on the shelf. It opens the wrong way as well, but that's... sure you can cure that.
The other thing that I would find problematic would be the fact it comes in 2 pieces. We all know things that come in 2 pieces, one of them is going to get mislaid. Now, if that gets mislaid,
yeah,
that's not too stable. If I put some wine into that now, and I mean, I go and I just tip off it, it would spill.
Yeah, no, I understand that. It's just a case of being, I suppose, a little bit careful with it.
You know, you can't make an assumption about human behaviour and in an uncontrolled atmosphere in one respect. But the other thing is, you know, black is slightly understated as a colour. It could be, you know, something that would be more eye-catching.
It is understated, and it could be very eye-catching, but certainly I do agree that maybe if we maybe just bolded our text of the name.
That's fine, yeah.
Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you, indeed.
Last pitch of the day for Cullen is Super Value.
My name is Breffny, and these are my colleagues. And together we are Cullen Product Development, and we're here on behalf of Diageo to launch a new product for responsible drinking. Okay, so we're here now. The product is called the Alco measure. So we need to do this because our drinking culture is changing a lot due to the smoking ban. We now spend more time in the comfort of our own home and the comfort of our cigarettes instead of going outside and having to, you know, suffer smoking shelters. But the thing is, when we're at home, we can overdo it, but not with this. So if you get the Alco measure, you can definitely control your consumption. So there's your product. It's quite portable. It can, you can take it with you, and it's very useful to take with you for drink driving. If you're going to have a glass of wine at a meal, you will know that you can keep it within a unit. So that would be great.
What's the cost base of your product?
Recommended retail cost is $3.49, and that gives you a 60% markup.
So what would the cost to us if you're selling to us?
The in-trade price. I don't have the actual.
It's a 60% markup.
To 168 is our actual cost of product manufacturing.
168 is the net cost for us.
Yes.
Okay.
No, sorry.
Charge for us, that you charge us.
No. Obviously, Diageo are a business in their own right and need to make a margin. So
but are you giving them 30% margin, or are you giving us the 30% margin?
We're giving them 30% on the 168, and then whatever that price is, you then get a 60% markup, which leaves you at $3.49.
If I may, Brendan, sorry about this.
Please, thank you.
Yeah, it's $3.49 recommended retail price. Your list price that you would be buying at it, based on a 60% margin, is $2.76.
Okay, I think your margins are slightly different than the markups that we want. Okay. What I don't understand is it's 1 unit. 1 unit of what? There's no alcohol volume on it.
The ABVs that we used are kind of your standard ones, your average. So it was kind of the closest gauge that we could use when doing it this way, when measuring by the unit, I suppose.
So it was a 15% volume wine, 1 unit?
That's 12.5%.
Yeah.
So what if I'm drinking a 15% wine?
You need to go under the line.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, there is a...
You need to be someone a calculator with that.
Yeah, well...
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for your time.
All pitches complete. Now it's time for the retailers to place their orders, and all the teams can do is await Bill's boardroom tomorrow.
We ticked all the boxes. We made a durable product that's easy to understand and it's attractive. So I definitely think that we'll win this task.
If we lose, my gut is that Ruth will go. But I actually believe that Geraldine should go, because I worked with her on almost every task and she has little, very little to contribute.
For the 4 of us, it definitely wasn't our finest hour in this competition. Geraldine and Ruth went off to the design studio, and what they came back with was rubbish. So they've both made a mess of this task.
Being in the last 7 to me is exactly where I want to be, and I intend to be certainly in the last 2 in this situation. I'm very focused on what I want here. I want a job at the end of the day.
You can go into the boardroom now.
I really strongly think we have lost this time. It's the first time I can genuinely say I think we have. If somebody was to be in the firing line, unfortunately, I'd have to say it probably would be Steve.
You know, overall, I don't think it's gone well at all. It was a risky strategy we went with, and, you know, I don't think it's paid off.
Cullen, Platinum, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Your task this week was to create an original alcohol unit measure that would effectively communicate Diageo's message of unit awareness to the consumers. Each team then had to pitch their prototype to 3 major retailers. Steve.
Yes, Bill.
Why were you selected as the project manager for Platinum?
We all put our names forward to be project manager for this task. Stephen and Lucinda were very much seeing the splits of going with the design team, and were keen to get involved in the design and the packaging. I felt it was best that I take a role as project manager to oversee that.
So you thought you were the best?
For this particular task, after we talked about how we would each contribute to it.
So Lucinda, did you think Steve was the best person for this job?
He was very passionate about this particular task, and I had agreed with him, yes, it was right that he should lead it.
You didn't have any concern about Lucinda being on her own with one half of the task?
Each one of us here work on our own normally, and we didn't have any problem doing that.
So whose idea was the buddy?
That was my idea, Bill.
So you thought this was innovative?
I did, actually,
Something new, something fresh?
I did, and I think we had played it quite safe the last 2 tasks, and for this particular one I was keen, as were the others, to sort of take a bit of a risk, actually.
Do you think they look anything alike?
Yes.
Do you know what this is?
Purcell.
Got it in one?
We went with something a little more risky, and I think that could have been to our detriment.
Did you not realise that there are regulations about items targeted to children?
Yes.
Who did the research on that?
Obviously, we're aware that
You don't think that's childlike?
It is.
No, it is. It is. We do.
And you know that it's illegal to target children?
It certainly wasn't out there to attract children. It was to look like more of a friendly product. As it's turned out even more childish than I originally perceived.
You have to realise that you can't play around with the law.
Yeah.
Somebody should have been checking on the legality of this. There's plenty of places you could have checked this, but instead you let that go through. Do you see how dangerous that was?
Yeah.
Yes.
OK, who came up with the box idea?
I did.
Stephen, what do you think of that? You're a marketing guy.
Well, we quite like the idea of the colours and the way it was quite clear you could actually see the product. I think, you know, that was the aim to start. Obviously, there's a couple of typos on it.
And whose fault was that?
My fault, completely.
And how do you get away with typos at this stage of the game?
I have no idea, and I can't make up a reason. I'm disgusted with myself. I went backwards over the copy itself a couple of times, so I have no excuse. I don't know.
I mean, it's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah.
How do you spell liqueur, Steve?
L-I-Q-U-E-R.
Stephen?
I would spell it the same way, L-I-Q-U-E-R.
Lucinda?
L-I-C-Q-U-E-R?
It's L-I-Q-U-E-U-R. Does that surprise the 3 of you?
Yeah.
You should get the Reader's Digest every month. There's a page in it that says it pays to increase your word power. And it gives you 20 words every month, and I'm reading that for the past 50 years.
Okay.
Well, it's not okay, because here's one you didn't even spot. You did include the beer measurement on the box, but not on the unit measure. Why not?
Beer is a product that's drank straight from the bottle or straight from the can.
The Diageo gave a clear instruction that beer was to be included. Do you not remember that?
I do remember that, and I will...
You do remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that.
So what did you say? Forget about it?
That's what we forgot about, I suppose. We tried to think about the product in real terms.
So you're going to make the decisions for Diageo. You've measured all these other things. There's stuff all over the place here. Why didn't you put the beer one on?
Because we felt the message on the packaging was strong enough.
Where is that after day one? On day one. Where?
In the bin.
Where?
In the bin.
If I'm giving you a project and I ask you very clearly to do something with it, you'd better do what I've asked you.
Absolutely, Bill. It's something we've overlooked.
So this is 3 or 4 times I'm after having to say to you, you're doing your own thing. You're flying your own kite. No, we won't do beer on this. No, we're not worried about youngsters or legislation. I can't understand this. Who handled the VAT aspect of the pricing?
I did, Bill. I did all my calculations, ex-VAT, and I omitted that in the presentation, and that was school by error.
Have you not learned already about this? This mistake has been made before.